Good morning. Welcome back after a prolonged absence to the Levi Tai Chi School's presentation of the morning Qi Gong, the Baduan Jin, the Eight Silken Changes system. It is Tuesday, September 15th, and it is good to be back on the daily routine. I hope this is a regular thing again. I think the internet has settled down, the storms have passed, or at least now the yard is clean enough to present on video again, and we're going to resume today with one of our deep dive classes. If you recall, we've done one so far where we looked at the Sao and took a very deep, complex look at what we're doing. I hesitate to call these master classes. This is not about mastery. Stop me if you've heard this story before. Okay. When I was learning Tai Chi, I was in a very small school locally, and Tai Chi was not a class that packed the walls of the classroom. So there would be several of us taking the class, and someone new would come along, and we would start again from the beginning. Back to the basics, back to the foundation work, back to walking and breathing. And it used to really aggravate me. I was paying good money to be in class, and I would get in, months and months and months of work and get advanced a bit, and then all of a sudden someone new would come in and we'd go back to walking again. We would still train advanced level, but we would go back to the beginning, all of us, back to walking, back to breathing, and we would refresh ourselves over the basic postures as well. And it really was frustrating at times until I realized one day Sifu was teaching us a specific movement. I forget which one it was now. I think it was waves, hands, and clouds. And I realized that I had been doing it wrong for 6 months, 8 months. And it was a subtle wrongness. It wasn't enough that Sifu could catch it, but my weight was shifting wrong as I stepped into the postures. And I was mortified, and I was pleased to death that we were going back over the system so that I could catch this error before really compounding it. And after that, I learned to really appreciate going back into the basics, going back into the simple stuff, going back into the foundation work. And so these little classes are intended to go back to foundation with you, to give you a refresher, a little something super easy to do, a way to get you back into the system, back into the form if you stop for a while, and to be just a little refresher, as it were. And we'll get specific with it. We'll get into the real specifics of the form too, so that if you are an advanced practitioner, you can maybe glean a little something extra you didn't pick up or didn't learn or didn't remember in this system. So, our first posture, of course, is lifting the heavens. Lifting the heavens is straightforward on the face of it, on the surface. Our basic movement is from shoulder width. Our hands are relaxed. Over the past year or so, I've learned to let my fingertips rest gently on my thighs. It gives my hands somewhere to be, and this is a bit rigid for me sometimes. This opens a bit, which is nice in terms of breathing, but it's not as relaxed as slightly in front of me. So I let my hands just gently touch, my fingertips just gently touch my thighs. The movement is soft-handed, cupped at the dantian. Breathe in, lungs full, about the collarbones. And then we breathe out slowly. Our hands roll. Our head goes back. And we go all the way up and empty the lungs. At the top, I try to remind you fairly often, when you reach the very top of the posture, stretch, pull yourself vertically just a little bit. Give yourself a lift up. Makes the spine feel very good. Of course, at the top, you're just going to roll your hands again. Breathe in. Again, lungs full and palms flat about your collarbones. Breathe out. Come down. Lungs empty just as you reach the extension of your arms. And then roll. And back in again. Discuss one important thing here, and that's actually getting into the shoulder width posture. We discussed that, I think, with the Sao. I'm not even sure anymore. It's been so long, unfortunately, but we're going to review it again. How to get into the shoulder width posture to do this. The rolling of the soft hands, straightforward stuff, you should have that down. The getting into posture is an important part. Ordinarily, from our Sao, we are feet together, hands relaxed, shoulders down, torso vertical without being dragged upwards. If you simply lift and step, you can fall a little bit. You get a falling movement there. What we are aiming to do here with this posture, with this step, is this. Standing vertically, shift your weight. If you're going to step out to the left, shift your weight to the right just a little bit. Notice I'm not leaning. I'm shifting from the dantian. I'm shifting my hips. My pelvic girdle is being shifted so that my weight rests more on my right leg now. Then I lift. Notice my foot is dropped. It's a small thing, but if you're holding your foot up, that's tension like making fists. So my foot is dropped, it's just hanging off my knee. My calf and foot are just hanging off my knee. I'm balanced on my right. I'm going to step out while holding this balance, and then I'm going to drop this right leg a little bit to land. It's a small thing, but it prevents you again from falling onto that side. So we shift, lift, step out, hold our balance, and then sink a little bit. Then we shift into place. So we go from double weighted to single weighted, back to double. And that's our shoulder width. And we then proceed into our posture. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And out. At the dantian, roll nice and smooth. Keep that a nice smooth pace as well. We have a tendency sometimes, especially as beginners, to hurry through to get back to that movement. This is the important part, not this. Well, that is too. It's all important part. So as you breathe out, keep that pace. Roll back in, lift as if you're lifting the air up in front of you, lifting the air to your nose as if you're breathing arose in, and then breathe out. Nice and slow and comfortable. So, one posture, of course, is in, and out. We proceed 8 times, and then, of course, you Sao again. The step weight shifting can be done also with your Sao, returning to your center point. It's a little tougher, but if you're careful when you are shoulder width, to return to center, shift on to one side again, lift and place. It's what your body's doing anyway. You can't, unless you're very, very, very strong, and none of us are that strong, unless you can simply leave your weight on both legs and drag your leg back across the ground, you have to shift off. What we're doing is making that a little bit bigger, and we're taking control of it. We're not letting it happen automatically. We're thinking about it. We're being mindful about our movement, which is the entirety of this system, being mindful of our movements. So we shift, lift a little, step in, place, shift back. Now, of course, that will be a little smaller movement because you're stepping back into your center, but it's still that nice, controlled, mindful movement. That's the important thing there. Be mindful of it. And keep in mind, all this comes with practice. This is all practice. We don't call it perfection. We practice our form. We play our form. They don't call it fishing. They don't call it catching. They call it fishing. This is practice. We're learning all the time. Hence these little classes. Okay, I'm going to go on about my day, do my form, and I'm going to upload this and make sure everything is working properly again. I think it is back to normal. Saturday's video for the museum, for some reason, split, but did upload properly in a reasonable amount of time, so I think we're back to normal. So I'm going to tentatively say, join me again tomorrow morning, Wednesday the 16th. I will be out early. I will post the video as soon as possible, as always, and we will try to do our daily practice again. They'll post a course on Facebook from YouTube, since Facebook no longer allows me to go live, and I will be as quick as possible with that for you. So, thank you for this. Thank you for allowing me back into your home and back into your time. I know your time is important and your time is expensive, and I appreciate you sharing some with me this morning. And I will see you tomorrow morning for a full practice, all things willing. As always, please be safe, be well.